Canada is facing a shocking immigration turning point that could impact millions of people living in the country right now. Recent reports suggest that by 2026, nearly 5 million temporary residents could be living in Canada, including international students, temporary workers, and visa holders. But here's the surprising part. Many experts say a large number of them may eventually have to leave if new immigration rules tighten and permanent residency spots remain limited. For a country that built its reputation as one of the most immigrant-friendly nations in the world, this possibility is raising serious questions. So what exactly is happening behind the scenes? Why is the government suddenly talking about immigration caps, visa restrictions, and stricter residency rules? Some analysts say the country is struggling with housing shortages, rising living costs, and pressure on public services, while others believe the immigration system simply grew faster than the country's infrastructure could handle. The situation has sparked a nationwide debate, leaving many immigrants worried about what the future might hold. In this video, we're going to uncover 10 powerful reasons behind Canada's growing immigration crisis, the policies that could change millions of lives, and what these changes might mean for people planning to stay in the country. Some of these facts are rarely discussed publicly, and a few might completely change how you see Canada's immigration system. So stay with us until the end, because the final reason may be the most shocking of them all. Number 1. Housing crisis surge. One of the biggest reasons behind Canada's immigration tension in recent years is the country's growing housing crisis. Over the past decade, Canada welcomed hundreds of thousands of newcomers every year to support economic growth and fill labor shortages. However, the number of people arriving has increased much faster than the number of homes being built. As a result, cities across the country are now experiencing record housing shortages, and finding an affordable place to live has become extremely difficult for many residents. In major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, rental prices have skyrocketed to historic levels, with many people spending a huge portion of their income just to afford basic housing. Some reports even show that small apartments are now being shared by multiple tenants because affordable options are limited. This situation has created a serious debate among policymakers, economists, and the public. Many experts believe that while immigration plays a critical role in Canada's economy, the housing infrastructure simply hasn't kept up with the rapid population growth. Another major challenge is the time it takes to build new homes. Large construction projects often require years of planning, permits, and investment before they are completed. Meanwhile, the population continues to grow quickly. This gap between housing supply and demand has placed enormous pressure on the market, causing rent and home prices to rise even further. Because of this, government officials have started discussing adjustments to immigration levels and temporary visa programs while also encouraging provinces and cities to accelerate housing development. The goal is not to stop immigration completely, but to create a better balance between population growth and available housing so that both newcomers and current residents can find stable living conditions. If you found this information helpful, tell us your opinion in the comments. Do you think Canada should build more housing or reduce immigration levels? We spend hours researching these videos to bring you the truth, so please support the channel by subscribing. It's just one click, but it helps us continue making content like this for you. Number 2. Temporary resident boom. Another major factor behind the growing immigration debate in Canada is the rapid rise in temporary residents. Over the past few years, Canada has welcomed a massive number of people through temporary programs, including international students, foreign workers, and short-term visa holders. These programs were originally designed to help the country fill urgent labor shortages and support industries that needed workers quickly. However, the number of people entering through these pathways has grown far faster than many policymakers expected. Recent estimates suggest that millions of temporary residents are currently living in Canada, and the number continues to rise each year. While many of these individuals contribute positively to the economy, the sudden increase has created pressure on housing, transportation, healthcare, and other essential services. Cities that were already struggling with infrastructure challenges now have to support a much larger population in a short period of time. Another important issue is that many temporary residents hope to eventually become permanent residents. For many international students and foreign workers, coming to Canada is not just about short-term opportunities. It is also about building a long-term future. But the reality is that the number of permanent residency spots is limited, meaning not everyone will be able to stay permanently. This gap between expectations and available opportunities has become a serious concern for both immigrants and policymakers. Because of this situation, the government has started reviewing several temporary immigration programs. Officials are considering new limits, stricter eligibility rules, and better monitoring systems to make sure these programs remain sustainable. The goal is to maintain the benefits of immigration while ensuring that the country's infrastructure and resources can support the people who arrive. We spend hours researching and simplifying these complex topics for you. So, tell us in the comments, do you think the temporary resident numbers in Canada are too high? And if you enjoy content like this, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us keep bringing you important updates. Number 3. Student visa pressure. Another major reason behind the growing immigration debate in Canada is the massive surge in international student visas. Over the past decade, Canada has become one of the most popular study destinations in the world. Every year, hundreds of thousands of students travel to the country hoping to gain a quality education and better career opportunities. For many of them, studying in Canada is also seen as a pathway toward work permits and eventually permanent residency. However, the sudden growth in international student numbers has created several unexpected challenges. Many cities are now facing severe student housing shortages, with thousands of students struggling to find affordable accommodation near their colleges and universities. In some cases, students are forced to share small apartments with several roommates just to manage the high rent. This situation has raised serious concerns among policymakers and education experts. Another issue that has drawn attention is the rapid expansion of some private colleges. Reports have suggested that a few institutions may have focused more on attracting international students for revenue rather than providing strong educational opportunities. As a result, the government has started reviewing how certain institutions operate and how student visas are being issued. To address these concerns, Canadian authorities have begun discussing caps on international student permits and stricter regulations for educational institutions. The goal is to ensure that students receive a genuine education while also preventing unnecessary pressure on housing and local infrastructure. By making these adjustments, the government hopes to create a more balanced system where international students can continue contributing to Canada's economy without overwhelming the country's resources. We put a lot of time and research into making videos like this for you. So tell us honestly in the comments, do you think Canada should limit international student visas or improve housing first? And if you appreciate the effort, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us continue creating videos like this. Number 4. Job market strain. Another important reason behind the growing immigration debate in Canada is the increasing pressure on the job market. Canada has long relied on immigration to support its economy, especially in industries that face labor shortages such as construction, healthcare, agriculture, and hospitality. For many years, bringing in foreign workers helped businesses fill positions that were difficult to staff locally. However, the rapid rise in population over the past few years has started to create new challenges in certain sectors of the job market. In some cities, the number of people searching for entry-level jobs has grown much faster than the number of new opportunities being created. This has led to stronger competition for positions, especially in industries like retail, food services, and basic office work. Some newcomers report sending out dozens of job applications before receiving a response, while employers in other industries still struggle to find workers with specific skills. This imbalance has created a complicated situation where some sectors face shortages while others experience heavy competition. Economists often explain that immigration is essential for long-term economic growth, particularly in countries with aging populations like Canada. However, they also emphasize the importance of balancing population growth with job creation. If too many people enter the workforce within a short period, it can temporarily increase competition for certain jobs until the economy expands to absorb the new workers. Because of these concerns, policymakers are now discussing ways to better align immigration programs with labor market needs. This may include adjusting work permit programs, prioritizing skilled workers, and improving job matching systems. The goal is to ensure that immigration continues to strengthen the economy while also maintaining fair opportunities for everyone in the workforce. We spend hours researching these topics to bring you clear and honest information. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think immigration helps the job market or makes competition harder? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you value the effort behind these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us grow. Number 5. Healthcare system pressure. Another growing concern connected to Canada's immigration debate is the increasing pressure on the healthcare system. Canada is known for its public healthcare system, which provides medical services to millions of residents across the country. While this system is one of Canada's greatest strengths, It has also been facing serious challenges in recent years, including staff shortages, long waiting times, and limited hospital capacity. As Canada's population grows rapidly, the demand for healthcare services is rising just as quickly. Hospitals, clinics, and emergency rooms in many provinces are already experiencing heavy workloads. In some areas, patients may wait hours in emergency rooms or even weeks to see a specialist. When millions of new residents arrive within a short period of time, the demand for doctors, nurses, and medical facilities increases significantly. Healthcare experts often point out that immigration can actually help solve some of these issues in the long run. Many immigrants come with valuable skills and training, and some eventually join the healthcare workforce themselves. However, the challenge is that medical infrastructure and staffing take years to expand, while population growth can happen much faster. This timing gap creates temporary pressure on the system. Because of this situation, policymakers are now looking for ways to balance population growth with healthcare capacity. This may include training more healthcare workers, recognizing foreign medical qualifications faster, and investing in new hospitals and clinics. At the same time, immigration policies may also be adjusted to ensure that public services can keep up with population changes. The goal is not to reduce the benefits of immigration, but to make sure that Canada's healthcare system remains strong, accessible, and sustainable for everyone living in the country. We put a lot of research, time, and effort into creating these videos for you. So, tell us in the comments, do you think population growth is putting pressure on healthcare systems? And if you appreciate the effort behind our work, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us keep bringing you important updates. Number 6. Living cost explosion. Another powerful reason behind the growing immigration debate in Canada is the rapid increase in the cost of living. Over the past few years, many residents across the country have noticed that everyday expenses are becoming much more expensive than before. From groceries and transportation to electricity and rent, the overall cost of maintaining a normal lifestyle has risen significantly. This has created financial pressure not only for newcomers, but also for many long-time residents. One of the biggest concerns is how quickly these costs have increased. In several Canadian cities, the price of basic necessities has climbed faster than average salaries. For example, grocery bills that once seemed manageable are now noticeably higher, and utility costs continue to rise as well. When combined with expensive housing, many families feel that their monthly income is stretching thinner than ever before. Some economists explain that rising living costs are influenced by several factors, including global inflation, supply chain disruptions, and economic changes after the pandemic. However, population growth can also increase demand for goods and services. When more people are competing for the same housing, food supplies, and transportation resources, prices can naturally move upward. Because of these challenges, the conversation around immigration policy has become more intense. Many policymakers are now discussing ways to balance population growth with economic stability. This could include adjusting immigration targets, improving wage growth, and investing in infrastructure that supports the growing population. The goal is to ensure that Canada remains a place where both new arrivals and existing residents can build stable and affordable lives without feeling overwhelmed by rising expenses. We work hard behind the scenes to research and simplify these important topics for you. So, tell us in the comments, have you noticed the cost of living rising where you live? And if you appreciate the effort we put into these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us continue creating content like this. Number 7. Immigration caps rising. Another key reason behind the growing immigration debate in Canada is the discussion around new immigration caps and limits. For many years, Canada has been known for welcoming a large number of immigrants every year to support economic growth and population expansion. The country even announced plans to accept record-breaking numbers of newcomers to address labor shortages and strengthen the workforce. However, as several economic and infrastructure challenges started to appear, policymakers began reconsidering how quickly immigration should grow. One of the biggest concerns is whether the country's infrastructure can keep up with rapid population increases. When more people arrive within a short period of time, it can place pressure on housing, transportation systems, healthcare services, and education facilities. Many experts believe that immigration is essential for Canada's future, but they also emphasize that growth must be managed carefully so that communities can properly support new residents. Because of this, government officials have started discussing adjustments to immigration targets, including potential caps on certain temporary programs. These changes are not necessarily about closing doors to newcomers, but rather about slowing the pace of growth until infrastructure catches up. By managing the number of arrivals each year, policymakers hope to maintain a balanced system where economic opportunities remain strong while public services remain stable. Immigration experts also point out that Canada still relies heavily on skilled workers and international talent. Therefore, future policies may focus more on prioritizing skilled professionals, critical workers, and individuals who can quickly integrate into the labor market. This approach could help maintain economic growth while ensuring that immigration levels remain sustainable. Overall, the discussion around immigration caps reflects a larger effort to create a long-term strategy that balances population growth with national capacity. We spend hours researching and creating these videos to bring you clear and valuable information. Now we want to hear your opinion. Should Canada reduce immigration numbers or simply improve infrastructure faster? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you appreciate our effort, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us grow. Number 8. Visa misuse crackdown. Another major factor contributing to Canada's growing immigration debate is the government's crackdown on visa misuse and fraud. Over the past few years, authorities have noticed a rise in cases where individuals or organizations attempt to exploit Canada's immigration programs. Some people use fake job offers, fraudulent study permits, or illegitimate institutions to gain entry into the country. While these cases represent a small fraction of overall immigration, they have raised serious concerns among policymakers about maintaining the integrity of the system. The government has responded by increasing screening processes, verification procedures, and audits of employers, colleges, and visa applicants. Temporary residents are now facing stricter checks to ensure that they are following the rules, while institutions must prove that their programs are legitimate and beneficial. This crackdown is intended not to punish genuine applicants, but to prevent those who misuse the system from taking advantage of Canada's generous immigration opportunities. These stricter regulations, however, also create uncertainty for some newcomers who are following the rules. Even well-intentioned applicants may face delays or additional scrutiny when applying for work permits, study visas, or permanent residency. This has led to anxiety and confusion from many temporary residents who are trying to plan their futures in Canada. The visa misuse crackdown highlights the balancing act the Canadian government must perform, ensuring fair and legal immigration while continuing to welcome skilled workers, students, and families. By enforcing stricter rules, authorities aim to protect the system from abuse while maintaining Canada's reputation as an immigrant-friendly nation. We spend countless hours researching and presenting these important topics for you. So, tell us in the comments, do you think stricter visa rules are necessary or too harsh on newcomers? And if you value the effort we put into these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us keep bringing you these updates. Number 9. Political pressure mounting. Another major reason behind Canada's immigration debate is the growing political pressure surrounding the issue. Immigration has become one of the most talked about topics in Canadian politics, with public opinion divided between those who see it as essential for the country's growth and those who worry about the strain on housing, healthcare, and jobs. Politicians at both provincial and federal levels are feeling pressure to respond to citizens' concerns while maintaining Canada's reputation as an immigrant-friendly nation. Recent years have shown that immigration policies can quickly become a hot-button issue during elections. Public debates often focus on whether the government is managing population growth responsibly, addressing infrastructure challenges, and ensuring that newcomers integrate successfully into society. When public concern rises, governments are often forced to adjust programs, caps, and regulations to maintain political support. This can include limiting certain temporary visas, slowing the immigration targets, or reviewing programs for international students and workers. Political pressure also affects the speed and clarity of decision-making. Some residents feel that rapid changes in immigration policies create confusion and uncertainty for newcomers, while others argue that strict measures are necessary to protect local communities and public services. The result is a delicate balancing act. Policymakers must satisfy public concerns without undermining Canada's economic needs or the long-term benefits of immigration. Ultimately, political pressure highlights how immigration is not just an economic or social issue. It is also a key factor in governance and public sentiment. Decisions made under these pressures can significantly impact millions of temporary and permanent residents, shaping the future of Canada's immigration landscape for years to come. We dedicate hours of research to bring you these insights. So, tell us in the comments, Do you think political pressure is helping or harming Canada's immigration policies? And if you appreciate the effort behind our videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us continue delivering important updates. Number 10. Residency Transition Challenges. The final and perhaps most critical reason behind Canada's immigration debate is the challenge of transitioning from temporary to permanent residency. Millions of people enter Canada each year through temporary programs such as study permits, work visas, or temporary worker programs. For many, the ultimate goal is to secure permanent residency, PR, and eventually build a long-term life in the country. However, the reality is that not everyone will be able to make this transition smoothly, creating uncertainty for a large portion of the population. One of the main issues is that permanent residency spots are limited. While Canada continues to welcome newcomers, the number of PR spots each year cannot keep pace with a growing population of temporary residents. This means that even well-qualified applicants may face delays, stricter eligibility criteria, or even rejection if their applications do not meet the updated requirements. For many temporary residents, this can be a stressful and confusing process that directly impacts their future plans, family stability, and career opportunities. Additionally, the government has started implementing more rigorous checks and updated rules for residency applications. Authorities are focusing on factors like employment, education, language proficiency, and compliance with visa rules. While these measures aim to ensure that applicants are genuinely contributing to Canada's economy and society, they also make the process more complex and competitive than ever before. The challenge of transitioning from temporary to permanent residency highlights the importance of staying informed and prepared. Those affected need to monitor immigration policy changes closely, plan their applications strategically, and seek guidance when necessary. Understanding these challenges is essential for anyone hoping to secure a permanent place in Canada's future. We spend countless hours researching and simplifying these complex topics for you. So tell us in the comments, do you think Canada should expand permanent residency options or keep stricter limits? And if you value the effort we put into these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us continue making content like this. Canada has long been known as a land of opportunity, welcoming millions of immigrants, international students, and temporary workers each year. However, as we approach 2026, it has become clear that rapid population growth has created serious economic, social, and infrastructure challenges. From skyrocketing housing costs and living expenses to pressures on the job market and healthcare system, the country is facing a complex balancing act. Policymakers now need to weigh the benefits of immigration against the capacity of cities, services, and communities to support a growing population. Each of the 10 reasons we discussed today, from temporary resident booms and international student surges to visa misuse crackdowns and political pressures, paints a picture of a system under strain. While immigration continues to be an essential engine for Canada's economy and diversity, these challenges show that rapid growth without careful planning can create uncertainty for both newcomers and long-term residents. Millions of people hoping to transition from temporary to permanent residency face an especially uncertain future, highlighting the importance of staying informed about policy changes. The key takeaway is that Canada's government is not trying to turn people away arbitrarily. Instead, the goal is to create sustainable policies that ensure the country can continue to welcome newcomers while maintaining stability in housing, jobs, healthcare, and public services. For immigrants, students, and workers, the situation underscores the importance of strategic planning, awareness, and timely action. Ultimately, Canada's 2026 immigration crisis is a story of opportunity meeting challenges, of a nation grappling with the demands of growth while striving to protect the well-being of its citizens. By understanding these 10 reasons, newcomers and residents alike can better prepare for what lies ahead, making informed choices that secure their place in the country's future. The coming years will test Canada's ability to balance immigration and infrastructure, but with careful planning and clear policies, it can remain a land of hope and opportunity for all.